Hey there, and welcome to Learnify. In today's video, we will be discussing 5 tips for improving your photography skills. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, these tips will help you take your photography to the next level. So let's get started. Before we get started, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and like this video. First tip. Know your camera. The first tip is to know your camera inside and out. This may sound obvious, but many photographers don't take the time to really understand their equipment. Take some time to read the manual and learn about the different settings and features of your camera. This will allow you to make better control of your shots and get the results that you want. Tip number 2. The second tip is to always focus on your subject. Make sure that your subject is sharp and in focus. While the background is blurred out, this will create a more professional look to your photos and draw the viewer's eye to the subject. When taking a photo, the most important thing is to make sure your subject is in focus. This means that the area of the photo where your subject is located is sharp and clean. While the areas in front of the behind of your subject are blurred, creating a shallow depth of field, these techniques is often used in portrait photography, where the subject is the main focus of the photo. To achieve this effect, you can use a wide aperture setting. To achieve this effect, you can use a kind of setting which will create a narrow depth of field. This means that only a small area of the photo will be in focus, with the rest being blurred out. Alternatively, you can use a long lens which is also create a shallow depth of field. Tip number 3. Use the right setting. The third tip is to use the right setting for the situation that includes things like shutter speed and things like this on. If you're shooting in low light, for example, you'll want to use a higher ISO that is called ISO to capture more light. If you're shooting a fast-moving subject, you'll want to use a faster shutter speed to freeze the action. Using the right camera setting is the crucial to getting the results you want in your photos. The 3 main settings is to consider all the shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. Shutter speed. This refers to the length of the time of camera's shutter is opened, allowing light to hit the camera sensor. A fast shutter speed is used to freeze action, while a slow shutter speed can create a motion blur effect. Aperture. This refers to the opening of the lens diaphragm, which controls the amount of the light that enters the camera. A wider aperture, lower f number, will let you more light and create a shallow depth of field, while a narrower aperture, higher f number, will let in the less light and create a greater depth of field. ISO. This refers to the camera's sensitivity to light. A higher ISO is used in low light situations to capture more light, but it can also introduce noise to the photos. A lower ISO is used in well-lit situations to avoid noise. It's important to note that the settings you choose will depend on the lighting conditions and effect you're trying to achieve. It's a good idea to experiment with different settings and see how they affect your photos. Tip number 4. Edit your photos. The fourth tip is to edit your photos. Editing is an essential part of photography and can take your photos from good to great. There are many different editing tools available, from simple apps on your phone to professional software on your computer. Experiment with different editing techniques and find a style that works for you. Tip number 5. Lighting is everything. The fifth and the final tip is that lighting is everything. A poorly lit photo can ruin to entry shots, while a well-lit one can bring out the beauty in even the most bad situations. Natural light is always the best. So try to shoot during the golden hours of the day, sunrise and the sunset, when the light is soft and warm. If you're shooting indoors, experiment with different types of lightings, such as softbox lightings or ring lights. These can help you to create a more professional look and feel to your photos. Tip number 6. Get closer. The sixth tip is to get closer to your subject. Many photographers make the mistake of standing too far away from their subject, resulting in photos that lack intimacy and detail. By getting closer, you can capture details and emotions that you will never see when you're too far. Seventh tip. Use different perspectives. The seventh tip is to use different perspectives when shooting. Don't just shoot from eye level. Try shooting from above or below your subject to add interest and variety to your photos. You can also experiment with different angles, such as tilting your camera, or create a dynamic look. Tip number 8. Take your time. The eighth tip is to make your time when shooting. Don't rush through your shots. Take the time to compose your shots and think about the story you want to tell. This will help you capture more meaningful and impactful photos. Tip number 9. Practice, practice, and practice. The more you practice, you'll be better what you get. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Don't be afraid to take lots of photos, even if they don't turn out the way you want them to. Use each photo as a learning opportunity and keep trying. Tip number 10. Tell a story. The final tip is to tell a story with your photos. Even photos has a story to tell, whether it's a moment captured in the time or a second that evokes a certain emotion. Think about what your story you want to tell with your photos and use your compositions, lighting, and editing techniques to bring that story to your life. These 10 tips will help you to improve your photography skills and take your photos to the next level. Remember to know your camera, focus on your subject, use the right setting, edit your photos, and pay attention to the lighting, and do not forget about compositions. Getting closer to your subject using different perspectives, taking your time and telling a story with your photos. With these tips and lots of practice, you'll be taking stunning photos in no timing. Thanks for watching my video, and do not forget to subscribe Learnify for more helpful tips and tutorials. We'll be seeing you in next video.